And we're back. Has Congress gotten the credit crunch right? Joining us now to face off on proposals to raise taxes on private equity, two members of the House Ways and Means Committee, Congressman Tom Reynolds, Republican from New York, and Congressman Sander Levin, Democrat from Michigan. Welcome, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Glad to be with you. Hi, Tom.
Congressman Levin, let me start with you. Senator Chris Dodd of Connecticut, Banking Committee Chairman, presidential candidate, fellow liberal Democrat, but one from Connecticut, so he represents a few hedge funds. He has not come out and endorsed your proposal, as many other leading Democrats have, to raise taxes on private equity. And he told me today that the current market conditions are reasons to maybe pause and take a look at whether this is really the right idea. Are you seeing a pullback from members of your party because of what's the threat to some of these funds over the subprime meltdown?
No, not at all. And if you look at the people who support this idea of changing our tax policy, you look at those who served on the Economic Advisory Council of President Bush first, this President Bush, President Reagan, the people who, for example, the chairman of Cato. There's a broad feeling in this country that as a matter of equity, those who provide services should be taxed the same way and not make these distinctions. And so this is a serious idea, and I don't think it's being affected by the present credit crunch.
And how quickly do you expect that Congress, when you all come back in September, is going to move on this?
The first step will be a hearing. This is a serious issue. It needs serious consideration. I hope it will be on a bipartisan basis in the Ways and Means Committee. There's a hearing scheduled, or to be scheduled, as I understand it, on the Ways and Means Committee in September.
Now, Tom Reynolds, let me ask you. You've been pounding away at this idea with your Wall Street to Main Street newsletter and the emails that you're sending out. You've been out over break while members are home hearing from their constituents. What exactly are they hearing, and what's the trajectory of this proposal right now, in your view?
Well, I think it's a complex issue, and there's probably not been a lot of Main Street discussion. But when we certainly hear subprime mortgages, other aspects of equity, credit crunch, that gets the public's attention. I don't believe now is the time to begin to address a carried interest overhaul. And while I welcome the hearings to begin in September, we need comprehensive hearings, and we need to make sure we are not going to get into a overreaction of pursuing the need for tax revenue that some in Congress want by increasing taxes, that this becomes an easy solution for that, when it really deals with the formation of capital and what our economy has been able to achieve in about 23 quarters from the fact of seeing growth, and private equity has been part of that.
Now, Congressman, let me ask you, though. I talked to Governor John Corzine of New Jersey the other day, Democratic governor, but former co-chairman of Goldman Sachs. He said, look, this is clearly compensation for services, that most of these hedge fund managers may not have even known about this tax advantage for carried interest until their accountants told them about it. It's found money, and it won't cause any damage at all if you raise taxes to ordinary income levels. What do you know that John Corzine doesn't?
Well, first of all, Governor Corzine is a tax and spend liberal, so first of all, he's looking for revenue at the federal government. Second, I'm a real estate broker, an insurance broker, and I know full well what the aspect of ordinary income and performance of duty. But we're also looking at now trying to split hairs on how to figure out what is private equity relative to dividend and cap gain formation of capital, and what is earned dollars. I haven't heard anyone say that they weren't willing to pay ordinary income on those services earned. But this is equity being invested.
No, look, John.
One last thing with it, John. In New York City, where this is a heck of a size industry, we will push this offshore and find London, Shanghai, and Hong Kong, all the recipient of this, much like what happened with the overreaction of Congress.
Wait, Tom.
Congressman Levin, quick wrap-up from you.
Tom, you mentioned,
are members of your party scared of the tax issue?
London is looking at this, and the basic purpose of this is not to raise taxes, but equity among taxpayers. And that's what the American people want. They want equity, and that's why Corzine has spoken. That's why the chairman of Cato, look, he's not a tax and spend liberal. nor are the advisors to Reagan and the two Bushes who say tax equity is a vital part of American financial structure.
Tax increases don't constitute tax fairness, and that's what this argument is.
Don't raise this.
Thanks,
don't
guys.
raise this, Tom. The head of Cato and these other conservative economists are not trying to raise taxes. They're trying to bring about equity in this tax structure.
Anytime you raise taxes,
thanks, guys. We got to leave it there.
And that's what the
Interesting
people
note,
of this
though, on our
country
most
want.
recent Wall Street Journal NBC poll, it was Democrats who had the advantage.